I was in dire need of a nail makeover, and here's how I did it. My previous gel nails were on for over 7 weeks. I know, that's insane. I had some major lifting, some cracks in my nails, and my hair was getting stuck. So I began by taking off all of the product. I'm not going to leave on 10% of the product as I usually do with hard gel manicures. I'm taking all of it off because I really just want to start fresh. A reason why I use hard gel instead of a builder gel or a usual gel polish is because I like growing out my nails very long. And if your nails are very long, that means they have a higher potential of breaking. And you can even see here, I'm trying to drill off a lot of the lifting I had, which was from my nail about to break because I left them on for way too long. But if this were a regular gel, my nail would have completely broken off. The hard gel is the only thing that kept my nail intact actually and kept it from cracking fully. So that's why I'll always go for a hard gel over a builder gel. Builder gels have more flexibility with them. For instance, if you had just gotten out of the shower and you're washing your hair and in there for a while, if you bent your nail would kind of be a little bit flexible. It would have a little give to it. Whereas a hard gel manicure, which is what I do on my nails, there'd be absolutely no give and it would kind of feel like acrylic or dip on your nails. Now that my previous set is all removed, I'm going to move on to prep, which is starting with the cuticles. I use my favorite cuticle nipper. I only take off the part of my skin that is the dry, lifeless bit, and I'm going in with a nipper and kind of tucking it in so that it can just easily nick off the really dry flakes that's happening. It looks like it hurts. It really doesn't. I think when I cut my cuticles, I tend to pull away the cuticle clipper just so I can have the rest of the cuticle be lifted up so it can be one nice aesthetic piece, but this is not necessary. You can just use a cuticle remover if you're not comfortable with it. If there's one thing I can recommend to any nail tech that's out there or nail beginner at home, it's to get these mini sanding bands. They just fit so perfectly into the nooks and crannies of your nail that a big sanding band wouldn't have gotten. And this has seriously made my nails last the month or month plus of what it does. It just really gets in there. It's super light and you don't have to add a lot of pressure, and it buffs off just the shine of your nail. It does not take off any major product, and I don't think this bit would do any damage on you or any beginner. I would say using the sanding band is the most important step in the prep. When you dehydrate your nail and really just scuff up the surface like this, it makes all the product have something to adhere to, almost as if you're putting Elmer's glue on a glass table as opposed to your carpet. Your carpet has more grooves in it, more traction, and that's what's going to make it stick better. Again, in my opinion, this is the most essential step in making your nails last a long time, so you do not want to skip out on this. After that, I'm going in with alcohol to dehydrate. I don't like using a dehydrator in a bottle just because I think alcohol is the exact same thing, and with these pads, I can really get into the grooves of my nails and get all the dust out. Nail primer is the next most important step of the nail prep. Nail primer is like the Velcro for your gel. It gives the product something to cling onto so it doesn't lift or slide off days later. And you want to get this into every nook and cranny of the nail, keeping it off of the skin. Now this next step is something that I'm personally experimenting with, but I know a lot of other people that have good gel retention always do this, and it's using a base coat. On my last nails, I did not use a base coat and I just went in with my prep and applied the hard gel. But as you could see, it kind of was lifting towards week 7 or 8, but also I shouldn't have left my nails on that long. So I don't think that it would have made a big difference, but I am going to try and use base coat today and see how long my nails last without lifting, which will definitely be more than a month. Again, you don't want to get any product on your skin because you could develop an allergic reaction. And after that, you want to put it in the lamp for a full minute. I'm using the applicator from a builder gel polish to do my slip layer of the IVD hard gel. And a slip layer is the layer beneath the actual layer, so this will just allow the product to flow more smoothly. For instance, if you put oil on something and then put more oil on top of that, it would just make it slide even better. So I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna put more product on top, and as you can see, it's flowing down the nail seamlessly, and if I didn't have a slip layer, it would have nothing to slide down onto. You do not cure the slip layer, you just go right in with more product. That's what makes it flow. Now using a liner brush, since I didn't have any product on the sides, that's what I'm going to use to distribute it. I'm going to make sure there's no more gaps. You want to go near the cuticle, and I'm just making sure everything looks kind of as perfect as it can be. And you want to go towards the side and see what that profile is looking like. As you can see, I needed it to be a little bit more even. And a little trick is, since this is hard gel, it will flow wherever the most momentum is going. So you flip it over and then it should make it look even more perfect, and the line of light shows you where your imperfections are. So I wanted to make sure the apex was as smooth and curvy as I could get it, with the nail tip being all pointy, just like that. I'm gonna show it again. I did my slip layer, did not cure the slip layer, and I'm going in with more product and letting it flow all the way to the tip of the nail, kind of in a U-like motion back and forth. Using the liner brush, I'm going to distribute it to the sides of the nail, making sure it does go back up to the cuticle. You don't want a gap in the cuticle, or it's going to make your nail look grown out. So you really just want to make everything look even, and this does take time, but a liner brush just makes it so much easier. I'm going to flip it and see what it looks like from different angles, because one angle could look good and the other one can kind of look wonky. And the thickness of your nail is kind of preference. I don't like it being too thick because I want it to look natural, not like acrylic. Now we get into cleaning it up. On an alcohol pad, I'm going to wipe away the sticky layer. You need to wipe away the sticky layer, or when you start buffing and filing, your nail gel is going to get all messed up because you have a gel-like film on the nail bit, and when you start filing, the dust is going to get stuck on top of your nail. So here I am, just softening up those edges, getting rid of any product that might have seeped onto the side of my nail. And this is like a perfect part of where you can make your nail look not so talony, and you can make your nail look sharper if you want. For me, I don't like when my nails look like talons from the side, as you can see. So in order to soften that, I'm going to hold my file wherever I want my nail shape to go. So that's straight. You don't want to file downwards, or it's going to have this kind of strange curve to it. And you just have to be cognizant of where your file is really going. I mean, because it's going to do exactly what you're making it do. And I want mine to be kind of almondy, but not too sharp. I'd say this next part is up to preference. I like sanding over the top of my nails because it makes me not have to add a base coat before I add my gel color, and because it just smoothens out the entire surface, and it kind of shows me where my imperfections were with the gel application. And this is really just something that I like to do because I want it to look so flushed, nice, and smooth. And this is something that beginners can do. If you see you've made an imperfection, or you got some gel super close to your cuticle, just use a sanding band, not too much pressure, or you're gonna take away a lot of the bulk, and you don't want that. You just want it to lightly graze the nail. Don't leave anything in one position for too long, and just clean it up. And just know that any mistake you make is fixable. I'm going for a clean girl nail vibe, and I want my natural nail to be peeking through, kind of like that natural French tip vibe. So I'm using a little blushy, jelly clear polish. I'm going to show you how I apply my polish in real time. Yes, it's kind of tedious, but I mean, perfection takes time. And I tuck back the skin a little bit to get in the groove so everything is polished correctly. And really just take your time with this. It's okay to go over it multiple times, especially when you're using a clear polish like this. If you have one side of your nail that has way too much product, it's going to look weird and it's going to be noticeable because it is so sheer. So I think that's why I also go over it a lot of times, is to make sure the entire gel application is even. The best way I can describe putting gel polish on without getting it on your skin is by doing it from center to side, and then you can go in and clean up and make it all perfect like I'm doing right here. This is a top coat that I'm going to reach for every single time. This is my favorite one. It keeps its shine for the entire month, as you've seen in the intro. And I used to use the Koopa top coat, but I don't know if it was some reformulation or what. I was storing my polish the same way I store every other polish, but it was getting kind of thicker, and I noticed that on my clients and on myself, it was just scuffing after a week, and it was very strange. So I stopped using it and went into this one, and I've loved it ever since. It's very thin and it doesn't dull over time. Last step is the cuticle oil. I think this is a really important step as well because your nails just went through so much throughout this entire routine. So it's only fitting that you hydrate them and give them some love in the end. This is how I maintain my natural nail length. I know a lot of people have some opinions on if these are natural nails or not because I'm putting product on top, but this is my natural length. All of the products and tools are linked in the description, but if you have any other questions or just want to know anything about nails, drop a comment and I'll respond to all of them. Have a good day, guys.